Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Handmaker with the Innovation Transfer Network, and I have Richard Dennis with me, who is president of Ditech. Welcome.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks for sitting on the hot seat with me. I appreciate it. I promise to go easy.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but we've worked together for a while, and I know that you have been president of Ditech for some years. Can you share a little bit about what you as a manufacturer do out there?
I certainly can be. Typically, customers come to us, prospects come to us because they're having difficulty getting new products to market. They're often frustrated with poor quality or late deliveries or solutions that don't really work well for them. And what Ditech does is come alongside manufacturers that need precision metal stampings in their products, and we help them by building dies for production, by doing prototype work, and we also do the reliable, consistent stamping, mass production of their products in order to make them successful in the marketplace, get their products to market very quickly.
Now, how long have you been in business at Ditech, and how long have you been president?
Boy, we've been in business since 1974, and I've been president since 2000.
So I would say you've seen a few changes over the years, eh?
We're both a little long in the tooth. Yes, there have been a lot of changes.
So as the president, when you're setting the mission and the vision of the company, that's no easy task. How do you go about doing that year to year in such a challenging economy and such changing times?
That's really tough, and it's a good question. I sort of look at myself as the guardian of core values, our guiding principles, that we are asking people to change on a daily basis. One of the things I do in the organization is the first day that you come to work for us, you get a card from me, and on the card it says, what do I need to do to reduce the amount of time to complete this task without reducing the quality? And so right from the start, we're asking people to change the work. So core values is very important that they don't change, so that people have that foundation that they can always refer to. And then, of course, our vision has always been to stamp ideas into reality, is our tagline right now. We've always tried to help other people stamp their ideas into reality through our application of the metalworking skills and trade that we bring to the table.
So you're asking them to think a little bit differently? Is that a safe thing to say when they come to work for you?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of our biggest challenges. We sort of have a two-edged sword. We have a very skilled, exacting workforce that has a very long tradition of success, but at the same time we're saying we have to throw some of those rules out and do things differently. Speed in the marketplace is so important nowadays, and the metal forming industry traditionally is very, very slow. It talks in weeks or months to build dies or develop stamped product. I like to talk in days and weeks, which frustrates everybody that works around me. It's like, how do we do that? And it's like, well, that's your job. Let's figure out how we can do that. You know, what will it take to trim off a week here, trim off a week there? That's one of the big innovation challenges for us, is how to maintain the quality and skill that we exhibit in our work, but also reduce the time it takes to get that work done significantly.
And is that how you would describe innovation in the company? I mean, people throw that term around a lot. So how do you bring an innovative culture into the company?
Right. I think one of the ways, there are two things. First is innovation in expressing the customer's ideas into metal. How do we help them with a product that meets their design criteria and is also manufacturable? A lot of times someone will bring us a design that it solves the problem, but it's impossible to make it. And so what we have to do is work from that perspective to figure out how to change the design enough that it can be manufactured. In some cases, we're talking millions of parts need to be manufactured in a year. So we need to have a good, consistent, reliable system to do that. So that's one factor of innovation. The other factor that we work on is also the process side of our business. All the tools and techniques we use to shape and form the metal, to cut metal, but also parts of the delivery system, like how do we handle the money, how do we handle the supply chain. We're constantly working with suppliers to strengthen the supply chain and find new and different ways that we can work together to cut down on that cycle time again. So a lot of our innovation is in the process side of our business. How do we build dies more quickly? How do we do prototyping more quickly? How do we get a plater to plate metal for us in a week instead of 3 to 4 weeks? Things like that. So
managing your partners, it sounds like, as well, and your vendors.
Yes, managing partners and vendors is a big topic for 2011.
Now I know recently you had a meeting with faculty from the Lancaster General Hospital and Penn State College of Medicine in terms of ideas and innovation. Can you share what the premise was for that meeting and a little bit about how that meeting went?
Certainly. We're very, very appreciative of that opportunity. One of the issues that we're struggling with is how to enter into new markets and how do we apply our product into growth markets. One market that we identified with a lot of growth potential was medical. And so the big question was, well, how does metal fit into medical? And the folks that the ITN network brought to us helped us to understand some basic language and basic issues in the medical community. We followed that meeting up with a trade show, a medical summit later in the year, a couple months later, and the conversations that we had allowed us to not sound like we didn't know what we were talking about. You know, we had enough of a knowledge of the issues and challenges faced by the medical community that we could blend in a little bit. And I'm happy to say that as a result of the series of meetings that we've actually done prototyping on 2 different medical products since then, and one we believe will be going into production later this year, beginning of next year. So being able to talk that language, understanding the issues, and having those kinds of insights into the future needs of the medical community really helped us to in that communication process to be able to take advantage of these opportunities.
So that was really an informal discussion on market trends and research, and an opportunity for you to ask what works, what doesn't, and get their feedback.
Right, and one of the areas that came up was the issue of the secondary sticks, accidental sticks with sharps, and based on some of the conversations we had there, we understood what that issue was about. And so when we were approached by a company that was working on that type of a project, we could say, oh, we understand this a little bit, you know, enough to be dangerous, but enough to understand what the design objectives were and why the program was important, and gave us more credibility in that process, that we understood the language and could speak a little bit with the key players in that particular project. So it was very good to have, you know, just that informal background and information from the medical community. Really helped a lot.